Dr. Umar Johnson took to his Instagram to speak on race relationships and interracial dating. And he stated, should you be able to marry a Latina? And he broke down the difference between Latinas, stating things such as you have black Latinas and you have white Latinas. So I'm going to let you hear his words, and he going to tell you just how it really is. And his breakdown, family, is magnificent. And whether you like Umar Johnson or not, you have to admit it. The way that he articulates things when he speaks is unmatched. And his courage to speak and articulate the way he does holds weight in the community. And with that being said, no further ado, here's Umar Johnson.
Can you marry your Latina girlfriend? Can you marry your Latina girlfriend? Can you marry your Latina girlfriend? Here's what I'm going to say about the Latina. Because Latina is a culture. It is not a race. Latina is a culture. It is not a race. You have African Latinos. You have white Latinos. You have African Latinos. You have white Latinos. You have African Latinos. You have white Latinos. So you can't marry a white Latino. That's a snow bunny. That's a damn snow bunny. So let's talk about the African Latinos. Let's talk about the African Latinos. Can you marry an African Latino? It depends. Does she consider herself a proud member of the African race? Let me say that again. Does she consider herself a proud member of the African race? Shout out to my Puerto Rican Africans. Shout out to my Cuban Africans. Shout out to my Dominican Africans. Shout out to my African Latinas who proudly identify with the African race. And let me say this to my African Latina sisters, because I love y'all. I treat y'all all the same. One people, one family, one race. I love my African Latinas, but I do want to say this to my African Latinas. And when we open up FDMG, we got to have a American African Queen, Latina African Queen convention. Because some African Latinas who proudly claim African heritage think they're better than American African women. I'm going to say it again. I'm talking to my African Latinas right now. I'm talking to my Puerto Rican African queens, my Dominican African queens, my Cuban African queens. Some of y'all, even though you proudly claim your African heritage, some of y'all think y'all better than American African women. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I don't care who don't like it. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I don't care who don't like it. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I don't care who don't like it.
And that's what I like about Umar Johnson, the way he breaks it down correctly. Because you have a lot of other groups, they'll break it down and just say, the Latinos are part of our culture. The Dominicans, they'll say all these different groups that are part of our culture, but they won't be distinct on how and which ones. They won't be like Dr. Umar saying, no, the African Latino, the African Dominican, and also, like he said too, and you have to acknowledge it and claim that that's your stance. Because we have a lot of people that have African blood in them, but still be like, nah, I ain't a part of that group. I'm a part of this part of me. Like if you're interracial and you're black and white, you have a choice to be like, nah, I'm black, or nah, I'm white because my mama's white. So that's the thing, and that's why I like the way Umar Johnson breaks things down. He's not letting you have that wiggle room. He's being straight up with it.
Now, for my African Latina queens who proudly claim their Africanity, who wave the red, black, and green, for my African Latinas who got that red, black, and green flag, who don't think you better than your American African sisters, You family to me. You family to me. To my African Latino brothers who got the red, black, and green Garvey flag, who proudly claim membership of the African race. If you don't think you better than the rest of us, I accept you. And I consider you no different than nobody else. But we got to be honest, my Latina family. We got to be honest. There's a very strong light skin supremacy thing going on amongst the Latina family. It's in the black family too. Don't get me wrong. It's in the black family too. Don't get me wrong. But amongst the African Latinas, y'all got it a little worse than we got it. And sometimes that yellow skin starts brainwashing you into thinking you're not an African. I'm just dropping bombs. I'm still coming to Puerto Rico because my Puerto Rican Africans want me down there. My Puerto Rico Africans want me in the El Barrios of Puerto Rico. I'm coming to the El Barrios of Puerto Rico, and I'm coming to the Dominican Republic to build with my Spanish-speaking African family. African Latina is still African as long as you don't think you better than other Africans.
Star Child, I never
seen the sunshine like this.
I never
Never seen the moon glow like
hey yo, I
this.
never
Never seen the waterfalls like this.
I never